in 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 TK Enter. Uh, One thing that I want to note, or I want to make clear to you, because this will give you a headache if you don't pay attention to it. Notice at the very end, I've got window dot main loop. And the reason that I have that, if I leave it off, watch what happens. Nothing appears to happen, but if you were quick enough, what you would see is that the window opened and immediately disappeared. Main loop seems to have the function of keeping that window open. There it is, keeping that window open. But it's actually doing more than that. What it's doing is essentially creating a while true kind of loop where it's just waiting for you to do something. Because in a program that uses a graphical user interface, it's not doing anything because it's waiting for you. It's called event-driven programming. It's a different idea than what we've been using. We've been using procedural programming where the program says enter a number, then it does something, then it says do something else, and then it does something else. It prompts you when it wants something from you. Otherwise, it just kind of runs on its own. In this case, it's waiting. It's waiting for us to type something. It's waiting for us to click the button. It's that event loop is just running. And this idea is a more modern take on programming. A lot of our programming languages, when we're designing iOS apps or Python programs or games, those are all very event-driven programming. Websites are event-driven programming for the most part. Like when we do JavaScript, we're waiting for the user to do something. And in Python, the way that mechanism happens, with TK especially, is this main loop that just says, I'm just going to keep waiting here and waiting for you to do something. And when I do something, then the program responds accordingly based on what I've done. So it's a different sort of program. But what's important to know is that program keeps running until that window is closed, and then it exits that loop. So your whole program, and this is what we've been building toward for the whole semester, is your whole program needs to be based in functions because those functions need to be triggered by things that the user does. So it's a pretty big mind shift. So that's why we're really starting with very simple expectations in TK because it's a different sort of approach to programming.